Okay, in section 1.3, we're going to be talking about linear functions. So linear functions, if we want to think about their graph, it's going to be a line. One defining thing about linear functions is also our variable, in this case our x is the input value, is going to be raised to the first power. All right, so whenever x is raised to the first power, we call that a linear function, and it's going to be the equation of a line. So some characteristics we want to think about as we're looking at this. We treat this as y equals mx plus b, or in function notation, f of x equals mx plus b. Now, the components here are important. So b is going to be the initial or starting amount when we're thinking about word problems, or it can be the y-intercept if we're thinking about a graph. The other thing is m. m is going to be this constant rate of change for the function. So it's how quickly the function is increasing or decreasing, depending on whether it's positive or negative. Now, our book does flip this around, but I traditionally just stick with the f of x equals mx plus b order. If you did switch them around, it's equivalent, except for I'm just used to seeing it as y equals mx plus b. All right, slopes of lines. It's going to be increasing if the slope m is greater than 0, and decreasing if the slope is less than 0, so a negative number. So if the slope's positive, increasing, slope's negative, it's decreasing. And because this is a rate of change, if the slope is 0, it's not changing. It's going to be consistently the exact same number coming out. Sometimes we call that a constant function. All right, you can think of it as f of x equals b plus 0 x's. All right, but that's going to be the same thing as just being a number coming out every single time, the same as our y-intercept. Let's work a quick example of this, trying to create our own function. So in this case, we have Marcus, who owns 200 songs in his iTunes collection. He currently owns these 200 songs, and every month he's going to add to this collection. He adds 15 new songs. So they're increasing over time. Our goal is to write some sort of formula for his number of songs, n. So they're giving us the name of the function, n. And it's going to be based on the number of months that he's collecting. So this does get a little bit confusing, that normally we think y equals mx plus b, where m is the rate of change. But for whatever reason, our book throws us off by giving us the name of our variable is going to be m, and b is going to be the initial amount. All right, so what I'm going to suggest we do is go ahead and try to line up the components that have been given to us in this word problem. They tell us that he starts out with 200 songs, so the initial amount that he has is 200, but he's going to be adding to that month after month. And it's consistently going to be 15 new songs, so it's going to be positive 15 is going to go in for our slope. Just kind of color coding things over here to the side. All right, so as we try to create this, let's think about this. We want to fill in m is going to be 15. Our variable this time around is not going to be x, it's actually m, because that's the variable they told us we had to utilize. And then our y-intercept, or the initial starting amount, is going to be 200, so plus 200 attached at the end. Hopefully that makes sense how the components kind of fit together. Don't get thrown off that we're using m kind of as the slope normally, but that's the name of our variable in this case, just because they told us it has to be named m. All right, let's try to answer the follow-up question. How many songs is he going to own in a year? Well, 1 year is going to be equivalent to 12 months. Now, our rate of change is based on the number of months, right? That it's 15 new songs every month, not every year. So as we try to evaluate this, we can say we want to figure out what is n of 12, which is going to be 15 times 12 plus 200. So 15 times 12 plus 200 works out to be 380 songs in his collection at the end of the year. All right, hope this helps out as you're working on these, trying to work through word problems. Just take your time, line up the components that are given to you, make sure you understand whether it's what your starting amount is, the initial amount, or if it's the rate of change. Good luck.